He tells me quite quickly, 10 minutes into the conversation, that he doesn't want to go forward with a relationship. And I was like, we've just got married. What do you mean? My first marriage ended the day after the wedding. Let's talk about it. So I got married in 2018 in June, and everything was sound before. Really excited, been together for quite a long time. We saved and paid for everything ourselves. Everything was good up until about 10 days before the wedding. It just started to get weird. The week before the wedding, I had a family hen do with his family, like all the ladies of the family in our hometown. I started to get weird messages on the night from like our friends and stuff. He was just acting really, really strange, not very nice. It was really weird. I couldn't get hold of him all night. It was just like chaos. It was awful. And bear in mind, we're like 7 days out from the wedding at this point. Next day, so all of his managers and friends and stuff, they messaged me so that he hadn't turned up for work. And I was like, what the is going on? Rush home. He then turned up at work, so his boss had let me know that he turned up at work, but still hadn't made any contact with me. And he came home and then made contact and was like, I'm so sorry, like I just got a bit out of control, blah blah. And I was like, okay, but this is all a bit weird. And I was like, you sure you want to get married? And he's like, yeah, 100%, this is what I want, this is what we've worked for. So we're getting close to the wedding now, and the whole week is just up and down. He starts telling me that he doesn't feel anything. Before the wedding, he was adamant it was nothing to do with him and he just didn't feel anything. He wasn't in the best spot. So I was like, okay, cool. The night before the wedding, I was staying in a local hotel with my mum and my bridesmaids, and he is at his family home. He's like running around and doing bits, like really helpful stuff, and I'm like, oh great, cool. But the message is just weird. He's like talking in past tense, like talking about how we started and like how we were rather than how we are now and stuff. And they're silently just feeling horrendous, not knowing what the fuck's going on. Like, is he suddenly going to pull out the wedding? Is everything suddenly going to be fine? And this is the first time it's ever not been great. I'm like, this is just, you know, a one-off. When the wedding comes to it, he's just going to pip back into his normal self.
But even on the actual wedding day, nothing had changed.
The wedding day itself is just the worst day of my life. Everything's going wrong around me and no one has a clue. It's like I was playing a role. He won't give me the attention that I'm craving, and I just don't know what the I've done wrong. And I spent a lot of the wedding day crying, and I'm just so upset, and I'm so unsure of what the going on. Why is he treating me like this? What have I done? Carried on, put a brave face on, got through the day, and then the wedding night, well, first of all, he wants to go out with all of our friends and meet me later on the night of our wedding. Everyone was like, oh, we're just going to go out in town. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And then I turned to him and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go out too. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you're going to go out too? And then finally agrees to go back to the hotel with me. Yeah, so wedding night was awful. I didn't know what the fuck to do. And then the next day, this is where it gets really fun. To go and have brunch with lots of people, like for the day after the wedding with all our family and stuff. And he literally gave me an ultimatum that if we weren't going to go home now, then it was over. I just didn't feel like I had a choice. We went home to Leicester. My phone's blowing up, like, where the f are you? What do you mean you've gone home? Everyone is so confused because they've just done the wedding. We got home and then he just put me through absolute hell for weeks while he decided what he wanted, telling me like, I'll decide what I want and let you know. It was just fun. This is meant to be the happiest time of my life. He decided that he'd tell me an answer. Meets me, he tells me quite quickly, probably like 10 minutes into the conversation, that he doesn't want to go forward with a relationship. And I was like, we've just got married. What the f do you mean? And he walked me to my car. I remember this so vividly. Put me in the car, closed the door, and he's like, okay, you can go now, like, you'll get over me. And I thought, oh. From that point, I then had 2 or 3 weeks crying, drinking. I went home for a few days, had like some TLC with my parents, just told them about all this shit, whatever, like. And then I was like, okay, cool, well, I need a place to live. I'm not living in that flat with him. Got a flat that I loved. And then I went back to work. And there was a stand-in assistant manager called John, or Fitz, as everybody knows him. And we started speaking just about work, so I just wanted to get the job done. And he was like, oh, I'm waiting for this sad married girl to get here. But I was like, I am the sad married girl. From there, we went for a drink like a week later, or something like that. He was like, in my DMs, in my Bumble DMs. But I didn't really think he was that interested, so I was like, fine, okay, whatever, like, it is what it is, no worries. And then we got outside and he, like, kissed me, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna kiss. That was it, really. We literally spent all our time together from that point. Yeah, here we are. So we got engaged before September 22, and we're getting married in Vegas next year in July. And yeah, I'm just really, really happy. So the whole point for the story time and all this is that actually I know divorce at a young age is just awful and no one really talks to you about it. At the time I thought like I'd lost everything, but actually what happens, I just gained everything. You can get over it and you can move forward.
Wow, what a story. I can't imagine how Nat must have felt being left to wait weeks on end to find out whether she was going to stay married or not. But we are so glad to hear that out of this whole horrible situation, Nat was able to find her real knight in shining armour, and we couldn't be more thrilled to hear that they're getting married. We wish Nat and her husband-to-be John all the best for the future and hope they have the most magical wedding. And the people in the comments have shown so much love and support to Nat, with one person saying, "You're amazing, Nat. So happy you found love and happiness after this awful ordeal." Another said, "Lucky escape. I'm so sorry you had to go through this and so happy you can openly process this with us. But, girl, his huge loss. Lots of love." And a final one said, "So glad it was a happy ending. Life had a plan for you all along." We hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching Happiest.